With the 15th pick and with the 26th pick in the 2019 NFL Draft, the Washington Redskins select Dwayne Haskins, Montez Sweat.
Welcome, all my fellow Redskin brethren and sister. I am your man and resident Redskins fan, Lou. Thank you for joining me here on the Redskins Report Live. So, the Redskins have officially started their offseason. Remember, Ron Rivera said, look, February 10th, we getting down to business. All right, we're going to start looking at this roster. We're going to start shaking and moving and start setting ourselves up for free agency, hit the combine, then start setting ourselves up for the actual free agency period where we start signing guys, whether they're our own or going out in free agency, and signing guys out on the market and bringing them in. And then you look at the draft. And so the first thing you have to do is self-scout. First thing you have to do is assess your own roster and your situation, get your cap situation all squared away. The best way to do that is to cut bait with guys that aren't a part of the long-term future. And the Redskins did some moves today, and they may not be done that we fully expected. As a matter of fact, we talked about these moves last night, and I said, look, I don't know where Ron Rivera is in the process, but Josh Norman isn't going to be here next year, okay? I didn't know if Paul Richardson was going to get cut, but I told you guys way back, like in December, that most likely Paul Richardson isn't playing another snap for the Washington Redskins. I wouldn't mind if he was back, but he hasn't been healthy, so what difference does it make? It's almost as if he hasn't been here. So they cut ties with both Josh Norman, who was due to make $15 million. The Redskins saved $12.4 million under the cap this season by making this move to go away from Josh Norman at this time. And we knew this was coming. It was a foregone conclusion. It wasn't a matter of if, it was a matter of when. That when is today, February 14th. And so Josh Norman, no longer a member of the Washington Redskins, saw this one coming. And everyone saw the writing on the wall last season. And then Paul Richardson was a guy that, I was so wrong about Paul Richardson. I wanted it to work here. He had that one healthy season in Seattle where he had a really good year, and it looked like he was kind of trending upward, and the best was yet to come, and we were hoping to be the benefactors of that, and it just wasn't to be. We were hoping to get that whole Pierre Garçon lightning in the bottle the second time around and have the best football played here in Washington, and it just wasn't the case for Paul Richardson. Couldn't stay healthy, wasn't a huge contributor on this football team, wasn't the guy that we were looking for that was healthy in Seattle for that one season and made all those big plays. We saw potential, we saw flashes, but we never got to see Paul Richardson on the field consistently doing what he was paid to do, which was make big plays in Jay Gruden's offense. And so Paul Richardson no longer on the football team. 2 years, he amassed over $17 million. Redskins will save $2.3 million under the cap with moving on from Paul Richardson. So in just two moves, the Redskins have added to their salary cap for the upcoming offseason nearly $15 million. And Jordan Reed counts another $8.6 million in terms of what they can save if they move on from Jordan Reed. So I surmise if the Redskins make another move, I don't know if it will be necessarily today, but eventually, I think the Redskins will move on from Jordan Reed as well. That will be bittersweet when that does happen, because he was a guy that I really took a liking to Jordan Reed. I really felt like he was a true difference maker, one of the few that we had on this roster. And when he was healthy, he had the potential to be dominant. He was one of the few guys that teams had to game plan for week in, week out when he was healthy. And so when that does actually take place, and I do expect that to happen at some point, that will be bittersweet as well. But at the end of the day, it's a business. You got to do what you got to do. And I expect the Redskins to move on from Jordan Reed as well. But Josh Norman will find work somewhere else. I know a lot of you think Josh Norman is the worst corner in football and he won't find work anywhere. No, he'll find work. Trust me. Someone else will sign Josh Norman and he'll play better. Watch what I tell you. He will play better, because it seemed like we were the only team in the league that didn't know his strengths. We were the only team in the league that thought he could be a man-to-man corner. So someone is going to take him. And you know where the perfect place for him would be? Seattle. Go to Seattle. They play cover three. Well, they actually kind of switched up what they do. They're getting away from that cover three scheme, primarily that cover three scheme. So Find a team that likes to play cover 3, and I think he'll be just fine. I honestly do. Make sure you got a little bit of a pass rush, but I think it was just a confidence thing here in Washington. His confidence had been shaken. As a corner, you got to have selective memory. Give up a play, all right, you come back and, forget about that one and make a play the next time. He just wasn't in that frame of mind anymore. And so I don't think that he'll be as bad in his next stop. But and then again, wherever he goes, he won't be looked upon as their number one corner like he was here in Washington. So glad that this is finally over, because he definitely didn't perform to the level of his contract. And I got tired of people talking about it, frankly, because it was what it was. He wasn't terrible in his first couple of years here in Washington. He just wasn't making the type of plays that we were expecting him to make. Thought he forced a ton of fumbles, but he never did get the interceptions that we were looking for. He never did recreate the magic he had in Carolina. And again, some of that is our fault for trying to make him into something that he wasn't. But that's nor here nor there. Neither one of these guys worked out in Washington. Neither one of these guys lived up to the life of their contracts. And so Redskins moving on from both cornerback Josh Norman and wide receiver Paul Richardson. And I think Jordan Reed is soon to be on the horizon. I will talk to you guys a little bit later on. And we'll keep... and someone said, why are you dressed in all black? This is great news. You should be wearing white. It's not great news. Anytime someone is released, I'm not celebrating another man being fired. That's just not how I'm wired. Now, there are certain guys you want to see the team move on from, but I'm not going to celebrate that. The only firing that I was celebrating was that of Bruce Allen. All right. Outside of that, and even when Jay got fired, it was bittersweet for me. You knew how I felt about Jay. So I'm not going to celebrate another man being fired. Okay, that's not how I'm wired. Yeah, I'm excited that the Redskins are going to get this cap space back. And yeah, these guys were dead weight and they needed to move on from them. But I'm not here to celebrate these guys being fired and their lives being uprooted and them having to change. I know it's the nature of the beast. It's a part of the business. And that's why I'm here talking to you guys about it. But I'm dressed in all black like the Omen because for two guys, their careers are being altered and their careers in Washington are coming to an end. And it's not great because it didn't work out for us nor them. So that's why I'm dressed in all black like the Omen. But the Redskins are putting themselves in a position to be able to go out and spend a little bit more in free agency, whether it be on their own guys, which is what I've advocated for over the last couple of weeks. Take care of your own. These kinds of moves here allow you to have more money to take care of your own. I think Trent Williams is going to be a guy they're going to look to try to keep here in Washington. I think Brandon Sheriff is another guy they're going to look to try to keep here. Eric Flowers is another guy they're going to try to keep here. And so that's Quentin Dunbar, add him to the list. And we don't know what happened with that situation. I guess we'll have to wait and see as to if they, in fact, did meet Dunny and Ron Rivera, and if they left that meeting with both sides feeling like something could get done. I guess we'll have to wait and see what happens with that situation. Anyway, got a quick super chat and then we'll get out of here. Blackskin HTTR says, early morning, what's good, bro? HTTR, bye, Josh Runway. And look, I'm not going to stop anybody from celebrating these guys being shown the door and handed their pink slip. Neither one of these guys performed at a level good enough to the contract that they were being paid. But that being said, I'm not one of those people that celebrates guys getting released, cut, fired, whatever you want to call it. And so it is what it is. I'm just glad that the Redskins are recouping this cap space, and maybe they'll be able to disperse this the right way and keep some of the guys that need to be here, and maybe go out and get a guy or two and add them to the mix, like a Greg Olsen or Anthony Harris, as we talked about last night, or even a James Bradbury. We'll see what the Redskins decide to do and how aggressive they decide to be in free agency. But moves like the ones made today, and I don't think they're done, are going to help them in that process of either acquiring free agents from the outside coming in or keeping the guys in-house that need to be here. I'm your man, Louis T, signing off. Remember, if it's not your man T, it's not the best NFL coverage it could be. And I am a Redskins fan, etched in burgundy and gold. My Redskins spirit never died. Redskins spirit will never fold until we meet again. Hail to our beloved Washington Redskins. So I will see you guys a little bit later on. If any more news breaks, you may see this face again. But in the meantime, you guys take it easy. Have a good one. Take care.
Network.